predict all that in the future and it actually become true?
I mean, first and foremost, I got a lot of prayer warriors. That's first. I feel like I'm covered, you know? But secondly, I think it's just some cocky Harlem shit. Like, that's just Harlem shit in general. We understand aesthetics and vibes and what things are supposed to look like, but I've always been very...
ChatGPT said, imagine waking up one morning, scrolling through your phone, and suddenly seeing headlines that leave you frozen in disbelief. That's exactly what happened when whispers about Teyana Taylor exploded across blogs and social media. But these weren't the usual breakup rumors or cheating scandals that celebrities often face. No, this was something far darker, something that felt like a plot ripped straight out of a crime drama. Documents were allegedly leaked online, pointing to a chilling connection between Teyana and an FBI investigation. The claim? That she had been tied to a supposed plot involving her ex-husband Iman Shumpert. Fans couldn't process it. How could someone celebrated for her artistry, her music, her acting, her fashion, and her aura of strength and beauty suddenly be painted in such a sinister light? As the whispers grew louder, people were left wondering if this was reality or the cruelest rumor yet. The fear wasn't just about the allegation itself. It was about how quickly a person's life could unravel once the internet decided to make them guilty before the truth was even clear. The story began like wildfire on gossip blogs, where unnamed insiders claimed to have seen the supposed documents firsthand. Some said phone records were listed, others swore that transfers of large amounts of money were flagged, and a few even claimed that secret meetings were being watched closely by investigators. Each new detail added gasoline to the fire. Screenshots, supposedly of FBI files, floated across Twitter and Instagram. Were they real? No one knew for sure. But when something this shocking hits the internet, the line between fact and fiction doesn't matter as much as the thrill of the scandal. People shared it, dissected it, and demanded answers. And what made it even more terrifying was that the rumor wasn't just about a celebrity feud. It was about life and death, betrayal and danger. Could Teyana, who once stood on red carpets with her family by her side, really be linked to such darkness? That question sent chills through her fans, who didn't want to believe it but couldn't ignore it either. What made the entire situation even more surreal was the speed at which it escalated. One moment, people were casually talking about Teyana's latest appearance or her career moves, and the next, they were whispering about FBI investigations. The internet has a way of taking small sparks and turning them into explosions, and this was no different. The scandal became the topic of every blog, every podcast, and every late-night phone call between friends who couldn't believe what they were hearing. It wasn't just about whether the rumor was true. It was about how shocking it was that someone with Teyana's image, someone who had always been admired for her resilience and her hustle, could even have her name thrown into such a conversation. That fear of the unknown, of what might come next, gripped people tightly. Because if there was even a grain of truth to the documents, then this wasn't just another messy celebrity breakup. This was something far more dangerous, something that could destroy lives in an instant. There was a time when Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert were the definition of love goals, the kind of couple that people looked up to and admired. Their story felt like something out of a movie. Two stars from different worlds who came together to create what seemed like an unshakable bond. Fans remember the smiles, the interviews where they gushed about each other, and the family moments they proudly shared. When they got married and welcomed their children, it felt like a reminder that real love could still exist, even in the messy, unpredictable world of fame. People saw them as a symbol of Black love, strong and inspiring, and many clung to their story as proof that love could survive the spotlight. But what fans didn't see were the cracks forming behind the cameras, cracks that over time began to grow wider and more visible. As perfect as things looked from the outside, inside their relationship, storms were starting to brew that no amount of smiles or interviews could hide forever. Slowly, those cracks began to surface in public ways. There were rumors of fights, whispers about cheating, and long stretches where the two weren't seen together. Teyana would sometimes post things on social media that felt more like cries for help than just casual updates. Messages filled with emotion that hinted at deeper struggles. Fans would flood her comments, asking if she was okay, but she rarely gave clear answers. Meanwhile, Iman wasn't always painted in the best light either. Stories of alleged infidelity would pop up, sometimes denied, sometimes left unaddressed, but always lingering in the air like smoke after a fire. Every time the rumors started, the couple would appear together again, trying to silence the gossip, but it never fully worked. People could sense that something wasn't right, that the foundation of their relationship wasn't as steady as it once seemed. The fairy tale image was cracking, and behind it was a much more complicated reality. Teyana's emotional posts grew heavier over time, with words that revealed frustration, sadness, and exhaustion. It was as if she was speaking directly from her heart, but only letting the world see fragments of the pain she carried. Fans could feel the weight behind her words, but they couldn't piece together the full picture. Iman, on the other hand, would go quiet, sometimes disappearing from the spotlight altogether, which only fueled more speculation. The distance between them seemed to grow with every passing year, and those who once rooted for them now whispered about whether the marriage could survive. For many, it was heartbreaking to watch, because they had been invested in the love story from the beginning. Seeing it unravel in such a raw and public way made people feel as if they, too, were losing something. The sense of disappointment spread like a shadow, covering all the memories of joy the couple once shared. When the FBI scandal broke, it hit like a bomb, not just because of the seriousness of the claims, but because of how it connected to the cracks that were already visible. Fans started asking themselves if the pain, the distance, and the tension they had witnessed for years were leading up to something even darker. Could the heartbreak have twisted into something unthinkable? Was this the end result of years of betrayal, fights, and emotional wounds that never healed? The leap from relationship struggles to something as sinister as a hitman plot seemed outrageous. But in the world of celebrity scandals, people have learned to expect the unexpected. Suddenly, all those old posts, the rumors, the separations, and the emotional outbursts were being re-examined under a much harsher light. What once looked like heartbreak now seemed like it could have been the beginning of a far more dangerous story. Fans couldn't help but wonder if the love that once inspired them had transformed into a nightmare none of them ever imagined.